Hey everybody, and welcome to today's video. Now don't forget, before I get started, the website themanifestingmedium.com. I'm offering up a $25 reading where I will channel answers for you. There's a form to fill out right on the website. You give me 3 questions on one subject, and I'll sit at night and channel answers for you, and then within a couple of days we'll get you a written report that will include what I've channeled and some human design thrown in there as well. So today's video, as usual, it's based on an experience that I just recently had. Long story short, I posted about this in the Facebook group. I had a friend who had to put their dog down, and I had channeled in and gotten some answers, and they didn't really take what I said under advisement. And then recently it became obvious the dog was short on time, and I tried to do some energy work, long distance, and obviously we have limitations as a light worker, and the dog passed away yesterday. So I guess the lesson that the thing I've struggled with, and I know that other people struggle with as well, and there's a saying that I like to say. It's actually a line from an old Hall & Oates song, and at the end of the song, the line goes, "Don't mess with imperfection." And that's the thing. As light workers, we're not perfect. We're going to, even if you don't want to call it, we made a mistake, there's going to be times when we can see clearly what somebody needs to do and they don't want to listen, or we get an answer but the person that we deliver the message to just doesn't want to hear it, or maybe we do some body work or energy work on somebody, and it's not helping them, it's not fixing any of the problems, and that can wear on you a little bit. I know it does wear on me. I know on one hand it's easy to say don't expect perfection, but on the other hand, it's not like we go into any situation thinking, well, this is going to be the time where I fail or it won't work. We expect that what we do is going to work, or in some fashion, every time that we do light work. And so especially for those of you who might be, like I said, I'm a medium, I'm an intuitive, and I channel. So especially for somebody like myself who does work that way, or if you're doing energy work, you're going to pick up stuff from people all the time. I know it. And then 2 things have to happen. Number one, you have to decide whether or not you're going to tell the person what you've picked up, because you're going to know personal details about their situation, so you're going to have to make a judgment call on whether or not what you've picked up you're going to relay on. And then the second thing is that you're going to have to accept that they may or may not even listen to what you have to say. They may or may not even take your advice, even when somebody comes to you purposefully with a question and you channel an answer for them. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to listen. And so it can become difficult to sort of remove yourself from the result, because we're doing this because we want to help, right? We want people's lives to be better and for it to be easier. So when we get a message and we know that this is what it is, this is what you need to do, there's an emotional investment there that you cannot deny. There's no way to turn that off. You want to see that person succeed, and it's not an ego thing where you want to be the one to have helped them. If they go somewhere else and they listen to somebody else and they get help, that's fine, that's great, that's the name of the game. But when something happens where an answer and you know what could help somebody, and then they don't do it, and then turns out that maybe they should have listened a little bit to what you had to say, that can be difficult all the way around, because number one, you obviously you have that internal feeling of feeling like, should I have pushed harder? Should I have said more? Could I have done more? And then the person who you deliver the message to, don't leave them out of that equation, because they know that, well, so-and-so told me to do this, and now it looks like I should have listened. So now that's a regret that, if they're paying attention, that's a regret that they're going to have to live with. And we can all talk about divine timing, and nobody's number comes up, until it's time, and, until your number and time is due, and that's all fine. But at the same point, It goes both ways, whether you're the one delivering the message or receiving the message. Hindsight, when you realize something happened because you did not listen to a message that you received, that is probably one of the most difficult things that I've had to do, that I've had to face and I've been on both ends. Absolutely been on both ends of that. So I guess the thing to say about it is just try not to be too difficult, try not to be too hard on yourself. You can't push that hard. There may be a situation where if it's a client that you really feel comfortable with, somebody that you really feel like you could kind of push them and say, no, you need to do this. I'm really, really adamant that you need to do this thing. But you have to pick those spots. Most of the time, you're just going to have to, give the message as you get it and hope that somehow their spirit, can work it out to see it through to where they're going to maybe take your advice and, be helped that way. And then on the flip side of that, if you end up in a situation where, maybe you should have listened and something happened, or you're at least thinking that way, there's no guarantee, right? The cause and effect is not a guarantee. But if it appears to you, or you feel that way, that, man, if I would have just listened to blank, if I would have listened to so-and-so, or even if the situation is you should have listened to yourself, even if that's the situation, guilt, there's pain in there, there's a suffering in there that, again, is something where you cannot be too difficult on yourself, because we just don't know exactly what it is that we signed up for before we came here, right? So we don't know if these things that maybe we feel like we failed upon, that's a lesson that we were supposed to learn, that we agreed to learn. You just don't really know. So I don't think that, I try not to get too high, but at the same point, you try not to get too low, and don't take it out on yourself if you misdeliver a message or you don't deliver it strongly enough, or also if you don't listen and then it appears as though that something negative happened. I'm sure that does happen from time to time, but also in the same sense, I'm sure many times that's just the universe's way of delivering a message. And like we've talked about, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes the lessons are hard. They hit you upside the head. You don't like them. You have to, and you just have to deal with it and push through. And the most important thing in all of that is, if you're listening to your spirit, stick to your guns. If you know what you know, you're going to have to stick to your guns, and that might cause some issues here or there for you. But in the end, that's going to help you have a little bit less regret when things don't go exactly the way you would want them to go. So, all right, that was it for today. Thank you everybody for watching. Like I said, website, themanifestingmedium.com, $25, 3 questions. The link is in the description. The form to fill out to send us the questions is on the website. You just click the link, it takes you right to the form, and then we work out payment afterwards. Once you fill out the form, I will send you an invoice via PayPal, or we'll work out payment arrangements some other way. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow.